guys, welcome back. Today's episode of iHeart Fall is going to be about apples, but instead of sweet recipes, I wanted to show you some savory things that you can make. Okay, so the first dish that I'm going to be making is a French classic with a twist. This is a potato and leek soup, but I've also added some apples and also cheddar cheese to make it more festive and more fall. We're going to start off by prepping all of our ingredients. The ones that take a little bit of more work are the leeks, because you do have to give them a good wash because of the way that they grow. They do get a lot of dirt accumulated within the root. So here I'm showing you how I trim it. I take all of the green part off and then I slice it in half, and then I slice those pieces in half, and then I just chop them up into tiny pieces, and I just kind of remove any pieces that look a little bit wilted or too hard. And then I get a bowl of cold water and I throw all the little pieces in there and give them a good swish and rinse it out, almost like you're rinsing out rice, and that way you make sure that all the dirt is removed. I'm also prepping the rest of the ingredients. I'm peeling my potatoes and also my apples, and then I'm chopping them up into cubes. This is going to help them cook a lot quicker. And to cook them, I like to saute the leeks first. If you've never cooked with leeks, they are basically like a mild version of onions. So they don't have that really strong flavor that onions have, but they still taste delicious when they're seasoned and sauteed. So I'm adding a little bit of olive oil to the bottom of the pan, just enough to coat it. And for about 2 minutes, I'm just seasoning those leeks. And then I'm going to go in and add my garlic and also the rest of my apples, my potatoes, 4 cups of chicken stock, also half a cup of cream. And I will have all the ingredients listed down below, as I always do. I also add 1 bay leaf, and then I cover it and I put it on high. And once it starts to boil, I turn down the heat to low, so where it's only simmering, where the little bubbles are barely coming up. And then I let that cook for another 30 minutes to an hour, or until all the potatoes and apples are soft. So once everything's soft, I turn the heat off, and then I add about a cup of cheddar cheese. And this part is totally optional. You could skip the cheese and just add it as a garnish, or you could add more cheese or less cheese, just kind of depending on how cheesy you like your soup. And then I just give it a good mix, and it's gonna slowly melt the cheese with the heat of the soup. And now this is when I want to season it, because at this point I can taste the broth and see how much salt it needs. And then I also add 2 chicken bouillon cubes. It just gives it a lot of flavor. Once I see that all of the cheese is completely melted, I can then transfer it into either a blender, if you have like a Vitamix or something like that, or I'm using one of these hand blenders, which I absolutely love because they're so much easier to clean up. And you just want to blend it away until it's all nice and smooth and creamy, and it's got the consistency that you like. If you want it a little bit thicker, you could always add a little bit more cream and let it simmer for a little bit longer. And if it's a little too thick, you can always add a little bit more chicken stock to thin it out. I think the soup tastes delicious the way it is, or you could serve it with some croutons. I like to garnish it with extra cheese and also some cubed apples. I use green apples, but I would highly recommend using red apples for this dish because the green ones are a little too tart. And I also added just a little bit of rosemary that you can later stir into the soup, or you can just use it as garnish. And this soup is so good, you guys. Okay, so next I'm going to show you guys how to make this sandwich with apples and Brie cheese that I have been obsessed with lately, you guys. Like, I can't stop eating this. So I'm starting off with my bread, and I think that this sandwich tastes really good with sourdough bread. I'm toasting it in the toaster. You could also toast this on a pan if you don't have a toaster. While my bread is toasting, I'm making a quick arugula salad. You could also use spinach if you don't like arugula, but I think that this is a really nice contrast. I'm just adding a little bit of olive oil, vinegar for a little bit of tartness. The tartness is important to the sandwich. And then salt and pepper, and I'm also adding a lot of honey. Honey is what's going to be the glue of all of this. It's just gonna make everything taste amazing. Okay, so now we're gonna start assembling the sandwich. I'm gonna add my slices of Brie cheese, and then I'm gonna put it in the broiler for about 5 to 10 minutes. You definitely have to keep an eye on it and make sure it doesn't burn, but once it's nice and bubbly like this, you're gonna take it out of the oven and start adding your sliced apples. You could use either red or green apples. I like how this tastes with red apples because they're sweet. So if you could find like Honeycrisp apples, those are ideal for this. If not, then any apples that you have, just make sure that they're nice and crisp. And on the other piece of bread, I'm just drizzling some honey on it to help it stick to the rest of the sandwich. And that's it for the sandwich. It's so simple, but when you try it, you're gonna wonder why you've waited so long to try it. It's amazing. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you recreate any of these, definitely tweet me, snap me, Instagram me, Facebook me so I can see your recreations and like them and comment and all that fun stuff. So I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. Mwah. Bye.